Welcome to America's Pickems, guys. And since a lot of things have been happening, especially for the Americas region offseason, a lot of changes. Basically, every single team is completely different than previously. Well, basically almost every team is. A lot of these Pickems are going to be based on vibes, what kind of storylines I want to paint, and past performances individually as well as a unit for those who kind of stuck together, but with some legitimate logic, right? I just can't say, oh, DFM and MIBR wins champs 2024. That'd be a crazy storyline, very unrealistic, not much logic to it. And we're gonna start off with Group B because I think it kind of encompasses, or at least shows you guys what I'm trying to do with these kind of kickoff pick'ems, since we basically have no legitimate results to base these things off of from like an official Riot tournament, right? And let me get into a running start for this. All right, so we got Loud and Sentinels, all right, y'all ready? Y'all with me? Hold on. Okay, Sentinels fans, I get it. Sentinels have been red hot this off season, killing it in the scrims. Just bear with me, I'll make it up to you, but I just kind of trust Loud right now. I know they lost Aspas, who's like a big part of their team, but I still trust this squad. They're very professional. Like when everyone was writing them off after what happened in Tokyo, they still kept composed and they didn't let that set them back too much. They got out of the group of death, right? There's so much drama about like team cohesion and all that stuff. I think there's just an epitome of what a good Valorant organization is all about. I know they brought in Quick, who is not going to be like a one-to-one replacement for Aspas, because I think Tuez is most likely going to be playing Duelist. I'm not 100% sure, but looking at some of Tuez's stats in the past, especially when he was on Controller, Brim, and Omen, he was fragging out, so he can aim, and I kind of trust his ability as a Duelist. We can't really base things, just ignore his stats when he's playing Harbor, because at the end of the day, it's Harbor's more of a support character anyway, like the epitome of a support character. Don't really expect the Harbor to be fragging out unless you're Psalm, I guess. Like I said in the beginning, I'm not really basing a lot of things on off-season results, mainly for a couple of reasons, because one thing is a lot of those off-season tournaments happen way in the past, and things change really quickly in esports, right? I remember at the beginning of last year, 2023, Paper X and EG, believe it or not, in their regions, they were looking like the worst teams. But just a few weeks, they became like the top dogs, like top 3 for EG. And then Paper X was just at the pinnacle, right? They were so good that they didn't even need their best player something, right? If Paper X was able to make a Tokyo run without something and a sub with CGRS, then I think Loud can do well without Aspas and months of training together as a unit. So if Paper X can do it in Tokyo, I think Loud can shock some people, because a lot of people are sleeping on Loud. I don't know why, but they are. And I know Sentinels brought in John QT. A lot of hype is around him. And then they also brought in Zelsis, who's replacing Pakata. There's some I wouldn't even really call that drama. That's just that's just funny. I mean, I guess it is drama, but I don't think it's like drama to a point where it's impacting Sentinels negatively. It's more positive drama, because anyone who's involved in that drama is just getting free impressions. So good for them. But like I said, Sentinels fans, I'll make it up to you later in this video, right? And Group B is basically the group of death, and we know Loud can handle the group of death. Like they did it once before, they can do it again. Type B. Next we have Leviathan, or Leviathan. I don't know why. I'm sorry for calling them Leviathan, because you got that accent with the A, so you got to respect that little mark above the A, So Leviathan and 100 Thieves, right? This should be a sweep. I'm not even gonna hold you guys. This should be a Leviathan brought in Aspas, he's a champions winner. He lifts multiple trophies in the past, so that's a plus. They brought in Calm as well, who also lifted the trophy to help King, who was just completely dominant for this team as a controller. Especially in LCQ, he was just top fragging left and right on controller and whatnot. And then Tex, who, guess what, has an experience of lifting trophies, albeit it was in tier 2, but it's still a trophy that he lifts. So Leviathan Leviathan, I almost said Leviathan. Leviathan brought in winners. And when you look at 100 Thieves, yes, they got Boostio, but everyone else on this team doesn't really like scare me. Like, you shouldn't be scared to face 100 Thieves. I'm pretty sure they're a good team. Like, you can't sleep on them, obviously. So there we go. So now this is why I kind of wanted to do it like this, because look at the winners bracket. We have Loud versus Leviathan, you know, El Clasico, the South American El Clasico. And then in the elimination bracket, what do we have here? Sentinels and 100 Thieves. Like, come on, bro. Come on. Like, crazy storylines after the first day of Group B, February 17th. Tell me that this does not, like, excite you to watch in the future, right? And I did it this way because I think it's more likely that Loud beats Sentinels than Leviathan, or that 100 Thieves beats Leviathan. Like, I don't think 100 Thieves are going. I think this is more realistic to happen than this. Like, if this happens, this is going to be the upset of the century. Everyone's brackets will be ruined if this happens. So this is what I like. I think is really good. Like, we get to ask the question: is Aspas, was Aspas strong because of Loud, or was Loud strong because of Aspas? You know, I think the answer is probably going to be a little bit of both. I expect this to be a pretty close game as well. And then back here, we have a rematch of the Clout El Clasico, the Clout El Clasico, you know, North America's El Clasico, because in LCQ, it was a battle of mid. What we're going to see in this elimination bracket, in my opinion, is the path that two teams took, where one team who was considered mid probably bolstered up their team the better, and then another team that kind of went a little backwards or probably stayed around the same despite their pickups. And honestly, if someone should tell Nate Shot not to watch this game, if he watches this live within a watch party, we might see the first ever time a CEO live fired someone on Twitch from their team.
Well, the thing is, they don't know because right behind him, and he hears it. He hears a rotating wave.
Caught him.
What
Caught
is
him
he
running.
fucking doing, bro? Just
go.
fucking jumping
It's okay,
around.
it's okay,
man.
it's okay.
Potential
Keep it calm,
disaster.
keep it calm.
Look at him go. Pancados all the way back over towards Cat. He has his turret back up.
Playing fucking hopscotch.
Stop it. Stop.
I think this will give Nate Shot either like a heart attack or just be really, really like sad because it's Sentinels. Sentinels should like mollywop 100 Thieves in my opinion. If there's any team that I'm comfortable sleeping on, it's 100 Thieves, and that kind of sucks because I really loved 100 Thieves, especially when I was a casual to like Valorant Esports. I just liked the 100 Thieves because of Hiko. Just watching Hiko do the things he did was pretty cool. And now we have Loud versus Leviathan. This is going to be tough because there's so much pressure on Leviathan because, like, I'm pretty sure these players that they brought in was not cheap. It was not cheap whatsoever. They created a super team and they're going against Loud, which are a very dominant team, right? And this is going to be a really close game. I think this is going to be more of a toss-up than people think. Yeah, I think I go Loud. I go Loud here. And then we have Leviathan and Sentinels. Like, yeah, only one of these teams can go win, right? Only one of these teams can go win. And both of them are pretty newly created. Sentinels lineup kind of are more of a core together. It's going to be a battle of, I want to say, duelists, like Aspas versus Zekin. Tell me you guys aren't going to be excited for Aspas versus Zekin, right? I'm going to give it to Sentinels. So these are the two teams I have seen moving on. All right, we got Group A. I think Group A is pretty easy to predict. I don't think there's going to be too much of a upset. If there's an upset for either NRG or Cloud9, I think that spells disaster for either or organization, especially with what they've been going through. NRG is seen as the favorites to just for every tournament that they walk in. If they don't place at least top 4 in the global stage or even qualify for like every tournament, it's going to be tough, especially for Madrid. I think Madrid, if they don't qualify for Madrid, that's understandable because only 2 teams making on to Madrid. That's kind of rough, right? But the other 2, they should qualify for Shanghai. And I think Champs 2024 is rumored to be in Korea. Nothing legit about that. While Furia kind of just picked up Felipe. I don't know how to say his in-game name. And then Havoc. Both of them are seen as like very good Brazilian talent. I know Havoc at one point was seen as like the second coming of Aspas, but he's not playing Duelist anymore. I think he's been doing a lot of an Initiator, but it doesn't even matter. Even if he was playing Duelist, it's NRG, bro. It's NRG. They don't stand a chance, right? And then Cloud9 did some really good pickups. They kept Jakey as well as Zeppa. Jake, I think it's Jakey or just Jake. We just call him Jake. Jake had an amazing rookie year on Cloud9, despite all the turmoil that they were going through with when they dropped Vanity and Ye. I expect Jake to increase from his rookie year, and they brought back Vanity, even though they let go of him and Ye together, but they brought back Vanity, so it should be Cloud9 who moves on. And then we got Furia and MIBR, which is the Brazilian. I can't even call it the clout matchup. Is it the battle of mid, maybe? Brazil's battle of mid version? I don't know. MRBR did pick up Loud's former coach, so it's going to be kind of interesting to see how important a coach really is to a team and whatnot. At least they brought in a winning mindset. I have Furia beating MIBR, but I wouldn't be surprised if MIBR wins this as well. But we're going to lock in with Furia. Again, it's NRG, guys. There's no reason for Cloud9 to struggle, or no reason for NRG to struggle against Cloud9. And then Cloud9 versus Furia, this has potential for an upset, right? And you guys can call it NA bias all you want. I have Cloud9 moving on. Both these teams should move on. If NRG drops a single game in Group A, I think that's going to be a little bit of a shocker. Maybe you can chalk it up to rust, not even rust, but team cohesion. I know NRG has been saying there's a lot of scrim bucks people out there saying NRG has been losing all their scrims. I wouldn't be surprised if they weren't trying to win all their scrims. Maybe they were trying to win some of them. Who knows? We'll see what happens with that. But I wouldn't be surprised if in the beginning they were struggling, and then they're good now, but they were you know what, let's just troll everybody and make them doubt us type beat. NRG should go on. They have freaking Demon 1, Ethan, Marv, Crashies, and Victor. It's just from top to bottom, it's just a scary lineup on paper. Now, Group C has a lot of special characteristics, mainly because most teams will have a bye, but Evil Genius has the longest bye out of everybody, who is a 1 seed, I believe. I think it's about 6 days they have a bye. So they have 6 days to prep for this. And Group C's in each region is kind of funny because the top seed has a bye, so they're most likely going to move on, even though Evil Genius is a completely different team. So sometimes maybe you want to lose the first game on purpose so you have just more data on the other team for this decider match, because most Group C's is just going to be a rematch of the decider and the opening. For most Group C matches, it's just going to be a rematch, right? But Crew versus G2 Esports. G2, for those who don't know, was basically the guard, right? The guard kept their 3 players and, well, not 3, 4 players, and added Leaf. And because of that, they had to drop some players as well, like Oxy, who's now on C9. I can't believe I forgot to mention Oxy. Yeah, C9 picked up Oxy and Whippy from G2, right? Which are pretty good players as well. But hey, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, right, to satisfy Riot. And then Crew, I mean, Crew's there. They pick up Shy and Mata. It's kind of interesting how often Crew and Leviathan players are just swapping, going from back and forth from time to time. It should be G2. The only way Crew wins this is through Messi magic. If Guerrero and Messi suit up and start playing, and the playing field isn't and the rules aren't Valorant, but it's soccer, that's the only way I see Crew winning. And under most circumstances, it should be G2. Under most circumstances, it should be G2. But like I said earlier, this isn't normal circumstances. Evil Genius has a whole week to prepare. That's a huge advantage in my opinion. There's Potter too, and then you have Jogamo. I made a whole video about Jogamo. Them not qualifying or not winning their first game would be kind of weird. So I actually have Evil Genius making it through. I think they also have a lot of players that got a little bit of a monkey on their back, that they want to get off of. Derek, he was on 100 Thieves, felt like he was kind of underperforming there. You got Nature, Offpoff, and then Superman. I think you shouldn't sleep on them. And then we have a rematch, and we have G2 moving on. So these are my pick'ems for Group C. EG qualifies, shocks the world, being like, hey, we still here, we still got that pedigree to an extent. L org, but W players. Looking at this, it is kind of scary for South America that it's very possible that they only have one team moving on, because I think their best 2 South American teams are in Group B. Like, that's just chalked, bro. That's unlucky. It's very possible that they both move on, but again, call it NA bias, but I think this is how things will go. And you guys throw a like for the video. That really helps push out the video, and subscribe to. And until next time, y'all stay safe, and I'll see you guys later.